no movement days will be continued for another 2 weeks. Therefore, we will be seeing 6 more no movement days. And these would be Sunday, September the 5th, Monday, September the 6th, Tuesday, September the 7th, Sunday, September the 12th, Monday, September 13th, and Tuesday, September 14th. The normal curfew hours will be 7 p.m. until 5 a.m. the following morning on Wednesdays to Fridays during this period, and 6 p.m. on Saturdays. To allow persons to prepare for the 3 consecutive no movement days. On Friday, September 3, on Friday, September 3, and on Friday, September 10, 2021, workplaces, businesses will be required to close at midday. The list of workplaces and businesses which will not have to close at midday remains the same as the last 2 weeks of no movement days. And these businesses are published in the Gazette, which is available online, and we will have the Gazette available much earlier than previous times. Despite the extended curfew hours, we want the vaccination program to continue in full force. Certain vaccination sites will remain open during curfew hours and on no movement days. Persons who wish to receive the vaccine will be allowed to do so during curfew hours, as was done over the last 2 weeks. To be clear, on no movement days, persons will be allowed to seek urgent medical care, and those who have overseas travel plans can make their way to and from the airport. Essential services will be operational, and in this group I include our fisher folk, farmers, our factories, BPOs, and those involved in the maintenance of infrastructure and for financial services, and indeed the media. But I remind those persons employed to essential services who must move on the no movement days to ensure that you have your ID to present to the police in case you are stopped. Even in this group, those persons who can work from home should do so and only travel if necessary. We have heard the concerns of our frontline workers about obtaining meals while on duty on no movement days. We will allow the JCF, the JDF, private security personnel, the fire brigade, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, or other persons properly identified, employed to the hospital or engaged by the Ministry of Health in the vaccination process to be served at the premises of food establishments which are registered under the ENDS program, that is the e-commerce national delivery system, during curfew and no movement days. Just to give you a brief update on the ENDS continues to be operational, and we encourage persons to use the system. Businesses and delivery operators registered on the ENDS program will be able to operate after curfew until midnight on no movement days. Work from home. The existing work from home directive in the public sector is being extended until September 17, 2021. Again, I urge permanent secretaries and heads of agencies to strictly ensure that only persons who work in critical service delivery, and the nature of their work is such that it requires them to be physically present at the office or plant, that only those persons be allowed to come to work. For the private sector, I again use a strong appeal to employers to ensure that only persons who cannot work from home actually come into your workplaces. For places of worship, and again, I've seen the appeals of our pastors saying, look, we have these large spaces and we could accommodate more persons. We have been very faithful in observing the rules and so forth. I quite well understand that it is not our intention to deprive anyone of their right to worship, but it is just necessary for the management of the pandemic. Schools would have the same argument. See, we have these schools that are in rural areas that are empty and many of them are underpopulated. Why can't we have school? It's the same principle that applies. So for places of worship, the same arrangements that were in place over the last 2 Sundays to facilitate Sunday worship will remain in place for Sunday, September 5 and Sunday, September 12. Persons who leave home on these 2 Sundays will have to carry on their person an authorization form as included in the Gazette, issued by their place of worship. In respect of funerals, weddings, AGMs, or other gatherings, the same provisions remain in place as obtained over the past 2 weeks.